I used to say black people were naturally more athletic and dominant genetically in sports. And that's something that many of you all believe, right? Right? You think that, right? And my dad pushed back on that. He told me, no, it's not that. We're not genetically superior. It's that we're hungrier. You understand? And for a lot of us, sports was one of the only ways out. At the time, I disagreed with him. I thought he was I thought, you take a big black male and you put it with a big black female, and then you can get you a big black buck and put him out on the football field. That's what I tried that. You see what I'm saying? So, I came from that. I came from that theory. But I thought he was just underestimating the natural physical gifts of black athletes. But now, when I look at the NBA and I look at the NFL and I look at global soccer and baseball and international sports, I understand his point much better. Genetics matter, size matters, okay? Speed matters, explosiveness matters, but hunger matters more. And that's the part a lot of comfortable black Americans don't want to hear. Hunger changes a person. Desperation changes a person. Environment changes a person. When a child believes basketball, football, baseball, soccer is the only way to lift his family up out of poverty and war and instability or national hopelessness, he brings a different level of urgency. He doesn't treat practice like an extracurricular activity. He treats it like survival. You understand? He doesn't treat conditioning like punishment. He treats it like escape. He doesn't treat discipline like oppression. He treats it like the price of freedom. And that's why the international athletes are coming. And they're coming from Eastern Europe. You understand? They're coming. That's why Africans are coming. That's why Caribbean players are coming. That's why the Dominican players have become a major force in Major League Baseball. These young men aren't merely showing up with height, wingspan, and athletic gifts. Many of them are showing up with hunger. They're showing up with national pride, and they're showing up with expectations. They're showing up with understanding that if they make it, they may change the destiny of everybody connected to them. That's the story. Okay? As a matter of fact, that story is just as powerful as the old American story about the black kid from the ghetto shooting hoops on cracked concrete with worn out basketball shoes playing in some old school Converse. So when we look at the NBA today, we see more international players. These white boys ain't the regular white boys. These are some Eastern. You know what's going on in Eastern European? You know what's going on over there? Somebody type war. Okay? Y'all need to stop laughing like this is an accident. It's not an accident. The league expanded the search. The world answered. And some of these young men are bringing the same hunger that black Americans used to bring when sports felt like one of the only doors open to us. That's why my father's point matters. We weren't great merely because we were black. We were great because we were gifted. Yes, we were gifted, but also because we were desperate. You understand me? We picked cotton from sun up to sundown. We were dealing with oppression. The only way out was to run faster, jump higher, hit harder, practice more. So we became focused, tough, disciplined. To add to that hunger, we were great because sports was one of the few places where America couldn't completely deny what it saw with its own eyes. You could discriminate in the classroom. You could discriminate in the boardroom. You could discriminate in the courtroom. But when a black man ran past you, jumped over you, knocked you down, crossed you over, or hit the ball over the fence, there was only so much line you could do. But see, now the world is caught up. And black America isn't the same position we were 50 or 60 years ago, were we? Somebody type snooty black people in the chat room. Somebody type snooty black people. We have more professionals. We have more millionaires. We have a whole lot more options and a whole lot more pathways. And we have families who don't need to gamble their child's future on sports. And that means our hunger has changed. That's not a bad thing. In fact, it's a sign of progress. It means we've stopped pretending that the sports world is frozen in 1985. It's not. The game has changed. The standards have changed. You see? And when we ask whether the NBA has black fatigue, I come back to my daddy's wisdom. Maybe the NBA isn't tired of black players. Maybe it's tired of the chaos. And my daddy tried to tell me years ago, shout out to High Tolerance. He tried to tell me that hunger matters. I fought him on it. I thought genetics explained more than he did. But now looking at the modern NBA and what's going on with global sports, I think that the old man was right, rest his soul. Talent gives you a chance. Genetic gives you the tools, but hunger, structure, and discipline and faith, that's determined what you do with them. Now, let's have an honest conversation, okay? We need to have an honest conversation. Y'all ready to speak honestly right quick? Got to be honest with ourselves. We're not the people we were 50, 60, 70 years ago. Compared to the rest of the African diaspora, shout out to you, High Tolerance. Compared to the rest of the African people of African descent on this planet, the Caribbean, these people are trying to do everything they can to get over here. We are not hungry anymore. Black America, FBA, we are not hungry anymore. A lot of us aren't broke. We're not desperate. We're not skinny. And trying to find a way out of abject poverty. A lot of us are comfortable. I know I'm comfortable. A lot of us are sitting in the air conditioning, sitting at desks, working on laptops, Zoom calls. Y'all on an expensive cell phone right now, listening to me. Practicing law, teaching school, we're running businesses, investing in 401ks, we're buying houses, second houses, third houses, vacation houses, rental property, taking cruises, eating brunch, sipping mimosa, ordering DoorDash, and then complaining the driver forgot your extra ranch sauce. Thank God for that. Because our ancestors were the real originators of black fatigue. Listen to me. See, it's not about this NBA marketing. It's not about social media. Okay? I'm talking about real black fatigue. I'm talking about real black fatigue was waking up before daylight and working until you couldn't see anymore. Real black fatigue was breaking your body in the fields, in the factories, on the docks, on the rail lines, in the kitchens, in the mines, in the military uniforms, in every backbreaking job America needed done, but refused to properly respect. Our ancestors were laying tracks, picking crops, loading ships, digging ditches, cleaning houses on their hands and knees, working steel, serving food, building roads, and doing the dirty work that made this country move. They worked so we wouldn't have to destroy our knees and our backs and our shoulders and our brains just to survive. They took the punishment so we could have options. We have become fat and rich. Somebody type fat and rich in the chat room. We have become fat and rich. And I'm saying that with all sincerity. Look, I'm saying it with a smile, but I'm also keeping it real with you. We have more comfort and more money and more opportunity and more choices than our ancestors ever could dream. The Census Bureau reported that in 2021, roughly 1 in 20 black households is worth $1 million. Think about that. 1 in 20 of y'all are worth $1 million. Forbes reported that black people represented about 8% of the U.S. millionaires. You hear me? That doesn't mean everybody's a millionaire. And it doesn't mean racism has disappeared. It's like the weather. It's not going anywhere. But apparently we found a way to deal with it. It means that the age-old image of black America as all the way across the world uniformly poor and desperate and trapped in the ghetto and looking for a way out through athletics as an escape route, that's outdated.